This post is entitled White Supremacy at its Finest. For this post, I want to focus on the genocide in Darfur, a genocide that has been going on since 2003, yet not too much is being done to stop it. Looking at it from Mill's perspective, there are many arguments as to why this is happening. First, one could argue that the genocide is not considered the Holocaust because it's not white people being killed. Situated in the incredible continent of Africa, we've watched many horrific acts take place, and now, after watching 800,000 lives fall in Rwanda, we again watch the loss of life in Darfur. These citizens are not white, nor are they benefiting from the racial contract. Instead, much of the white world refuses to truly acknowledge the killing and hurting occurring every day, and the attempted extinction of a population of people within Sudan. In class, as well as in the book, we discuss the idea of the Holocaust of Jewish people as being the only real recognized Holocaust in the textbooks. The world doesn't want to acknowledge the lives lost in the slave trade or the massacres of Native Americans, especially American textbooks. This is in no way right, and honestly makes me consider the race that I am a lot differently. If the education that we, as citizens of the United States, receive is corrupt, then how exactly do we go about fixing that? Schools aren't going to buy books that point fingers at the majorly white students reading them. At the same time, a city school that may be primarily black is not going to get the funding to buy these new progressive textbooks. There is a line in 10 Things I Hate About You from the black English teacher claiming that the girls in the class want to complain about not reading any famous women, but he can't even get the funding to buy one book written by a black man. I believe the world works in skewed glasses that I myself have to admit to wearing at times. That doesn't make me proud. But whether that is upbringing or cognitive development in school, or even just racism, we stand at a very difficult place to fix it. Currently, the death toll in Darfur as women rises in Darfur as women and children are raped and murdered, men are fighting for their homes, and most of all, fleeing altogether. But when do we consider it a genocide? What constitutes as enough? Mills brings up all of these points, bringing us back to the same fact, that racism happens every day, and unless we take action to stop it, there will be no change. But I don't think the white population is the only population that needs to work for this. I believe it must be a united effort, and that all races must work together to dispel the stereotypes and assumptions that fly around every day. Life's too short to wait for an answer to just spring up in front of us. Instead, we need to take action and create one. Darfur is a tragedy that many choose to ignore. A tragedy that is occurring so far out of our minds, much like Haiti, much like Japan, that it is inconceivable to ever foresee an event like that taking place on our soil. Maybe that is why we as Americans work so well in supporting war and the military effort. But as soon as it doesn't directly involve us, we shy away because it might compromise our neutrality or our allies. I argue, however, that if an event such as this was occurring anywhere on our soil, small or grand scale, our nation would be in an uproar. So I agree with Mills. We are a jaded society, overtly run with white males who believe they have all the answers. I sound like a feminist, but I argue for the opinions of the oppressed, for the women, the non-whites, the people whose voices are not always heard. I argue for Darfur. Sorry if that seemed like a slight rant. I've just listened a lot in class lately and not said all that I wanted to, so thanks for listening.